Hello all, TW here, and welcome to my stream of conscious style review of Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission, which is a DLC campaign that follows Yuffie Kizaragi during the events of the main game. Overall, the tone is more lighthearted than what you would expect, even bordering on shonen anime levels of comedy, but I suppose when your protagonist shares some of the qualities of Naruto Uzumaki, that's bound to happen. The main plot of this campaign has Yuffie infiltrate Midgar with the help of the main Avalanche team and lead her fellow Wutai native, Sonan Kusagabe, on a mission to sneak into Shinra's lair and steal their super materia. One thing that I like about this is that we spend most of our time in Sector 7, which I will never, ever complain about. Before that, however, we get a nice tutorial in the outskirts of town on Yuffie's traversal abilities. When she calls herself a ninja, she ain't cracking yokes. These devs really do take advantage of the fact that we're playing as Yuffie and only Yuffie for the entirety of this campaign. In combat, she can throw her shuriken like a boomerang in order to close the distance on the enemies. And once Sonan joins the party, we can do double team maneuvers, which is always a rad time. Speaking of rad, during our time in Sector 7, we are given a couple of side quests to complete if we are interested. First up is Fort Condor. It's an RTS game that increases its difficulty with every few people we defeat. The best part is that every NPC is a person from the main game, like Jesse, Wedge, and I believe some call him Johnny? I've heard from some that this can be a pretty difficult game to learn, but I'll be real with you. I'm not very good at RTS games, so if I can somehow make my way to the Grandmaster, then there's really a chance for everyone. My strategy is super simple. Just throw all the troops you can at once, and it usually works out pretty fine for me. For our second quest, we can find the 6 Happy Turtle bar posters hidden throughout the sector, and thankfully, the game gives you a hint as to where each one is. I was pretty lazy in my first playthrough, so this is my first time actually finishing this particular objective, and it felt good seeing all these optional cutscenes. Once all the fun and games are over, we can head out to get a set of fake ID cards, with the first one being with a fight with Don Corneo's goons that features a song that is way too good to be associated with them. The second set comes after a pretty long chase sequence as our dude is being arrested by Shinra police and Yuffie clearly says "A-cab, bitches," and so he layeth the smacketh down on their candy asses. There's also a pretty decent sequence where we have to maneuver grates around for Yuffie to maneuver from platform to platform. Snazzy! You know, I wonder if Yuffie can maneuver her way all the way over to the subscribe button. Also wonder if you guys can as well. So, after all that, we hop on a train and get Sonan's backstory, where we learn that his sister was killed by a malfunctioning Shinra weapon, yeah, he's got a teeny bit of revenge on the old Naga Noodle. Surprisingly enough, everything goes according to cake until we meet with Scarlet, the head of Shinra's weapon department. She sends us in a separate path that more or less consists of a few gauntlets. Yeah, this whole Shinra part of the DLC is surprisingly short, probably why they packed it with a virtual arena and a box-smashing minigame. Had to pad out the runtime somewhere, somehow. Thankfully, the pace ramps up before long, as we actually get to fight Scarlet in her mobile suit, but it's no match for the power of Wutai! Sonan leaves Yuffie to interrogate Scarlet on her own, but it isn't long before we have to go and save him from Shinra's elite guards, which eventually takes us to the final boss, some guy called Nero, who I'm almost certain is either original to this DLC or from something I have not played yet. Nevertheless, we kick his ass, but Brother Nero used his power of infinite health and ends up stabbing Sonan to death, while Yuffie makes her escape just in time to watch Sector 7 collapse in what is honestly a really intense scene that really rivals the one in the original game. And I have to give Susie Young credit for her performance here. She is able throughout this story to balance youthful comedic energy and balance that out with this super serious moment. Props to her as well as her voice director. From there, we see Yuffie on a chocobo wanting to recruit people for her cause to take down Shinra, and from there, we see our main cast still making their way to Calm. I just love the banter between these characters. It feels so natural and it makes me want the next installment all the sooner. Anyways, that was Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission. It was short, sweet, and to the point. You'll probably spend around 4 to 5 hours playing through it if you're a completionist. However, if you're the type to just speed through things, then you can probably knock this down like 90 minutes if you're fast enough. Regardless, I don't regret a penny spent on this campaign, and as previously stated, I cannot wait for more from this team. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Please remember to like it as well as comment down below what your thoughts on Intermission are. Next time, let's head to a certain seedy district of Tokyo. Until then, I hope you have a perfect rest of your day.
Ugh.